Hey friends, today I want to talk about burnout, what it may look like for everybody because we're all so different. Then we're going to dive into some releases that will help get rid of some of that pressure to do things a certain way and be in a certain creative space and all the things we feel like we need to be in order to achieve our goals. So let's go ahead and get started. Hey friend, welcome to Deep Healing for Creative Entrepreneurs. My name is Aubrey Barr, and I am a subconscious release technique practitioner and photography business owner. I know you are sick of ending your day feeling overwhelmed and exhausted, and you are seeking a solution to help you feel creatively inspired and actively engaged in your business as well as personal life. In this podcast, we are going to dig into any limiting beliefs or subconscious programs that are keeping you in a space filled with anxiety and stress. This work is not a temporary solution for your life. No, this is a complete transformation. So grab your coffee or tea and let's start you on the road to healing. And let me just say, you can do this, you are worth it, and you are meant to thrive in life and business. So let's dig in. Okay, so first off, if you notice that my voice is a little more chill and relaxed, it is very early in the morning. This is just when I have to record this week because we have some construction going on. So to avoid the hammers, here I am super early. I am still inspired. I'm still feeling it, but my voice definitely sounds very peaceful. So hopefully it's going to hit the right spot for you guys. But yes, today I want to talk about burnout. I want to talk about a few things that my clients have came to me with as far as symptoms, we'll say, to burnout and what that may look like, because it's better to notice them when they first start coming on than to get to the point of like not being able to take on clients or not being able to sleep at night or just pure exhaustion. So here are some things. The first one is obviously little to no motivation. And a lot of us will come in and out of that pretty easily. But it's when we get kind of stuck there and having trouble even making appointments. I had one person say to me that they have time to make appointments. They have time in their studio and they're not taking appointments because they just literally feel so unmotivated to do anything. So that is definitely a red flag that you're probably experiencing the first stages of burnout. The other thing is insomnia. I've talked about this before. I tend to follow the Chinese medicine clock as far as when you wake up during the night, because it does give you some insight on what kind of energy is being locked in your body. So depending on what time it is that you wake up, or if it's issues with falling asleep, that might give us a little more direction as to what exactly you're dealing with and why it's causing insomnia. A lot of that cannot be fixed by nutritional supplements, though some things can. Okay, I don't want to, get that wrong. Definitely some things can, but when you're dealing with deeper, like stuck, trapped emotions, they definitely just don't get released that easily, especially when your body is not working appropriately as far as detox goes, which is what tends to happen when you get locked up like that. So if you're not processing your emotions and letting them go, then you do end up being in a phase of not being able to release other things as well. So that's what I mean by that. The next one I want to talk about is being emotionally overwhelmed. And this is something I see all the time. There's definitely ways that we can fix this and kind of set off a better foundation for the emotions that we may feel during the day. But getting overwhelmed can just freeze you. It can just put you into that fight or flight like nothing else. And a lot of people, when you're in survival mode, that's it. Extra things like business stuff, not really happening. I mean, if you have to get something done, maybe, but the exhaustion with being overwhelmed is just not fun for anybody. Next is amplified anxiety. Obviously, this goes without saying. This is why I do so much work around anxiety, because it can be so overwhelming and another thing that's just going to stop you in your tracks. It's hard to think clearly, it's hard to be able to get other things done. One thing that I've noticed about anxiety is it tends to show up in the body. So I can usually see it on people simply because they are, let's say, fidgety, or they can't sit still, or they have to move their hand the entire time. They might be extra hot. Their face might look like they've been sweating, or they're kind of rosy in the cheeks. It can end up being an issue where you're kind of panicky, and that shows up like in a quakering voice. So it's just one of those things that's very obvious that you're going through something bigger when you have a lot of anxiety. And this is why I focus so much on anxiety with a lot of my clients, because it just tends to be pretty common and something that people have trouble processing on their own. So another one that I wanted to talk about is being easily triggered. And I've kind of brought this up before. I have a whole spiel about being triggered and what is really going on and how it has more to do with yourself. But for today, we're just going to call it easily triggered and roll with that. So you might notice that something small might happen and you're just going to explode either externally or internally, right? Sometimes it's more of an internal thing where maybe you start crying, or you just get so upset you don't want to talk to anybody. And other people, this comes out in outbursts or yelling or screaming or, blame games, all of these things. So if you find yourself getting triggered, whether that's because it's something big that happened or something maybe you think when you look back on it, it's really not a big deal. Either way, it is a sign from your body that you need to address some of the stresses or anxiety or anger that's going on inside. So the more that we suppress those, the more it's going to show up in these outbursts. And even though we might feel better after we get a good cry in, and there's seriously nothing wrong with that, but if we don't actually address our emotions, it's going to continue to happen. We're not really fixing it by eventually letting it out in crazy outbursts. We're just feeling a little bit of a release. But there's still an underlying program or limiting belief that we need to address. And that is the actual reason why we're going through that, is so that our body can alert us to what's going on inside our heads or inside with our emotions. So it's very important not to ignore that and to address it the best way you can. So you probably related to at least one of those issues, but maybe more. So I want to go ahead and pull out programs for each of these categories that result in burnout. So I already took some notes on what I think we should clear today, and there's just 4 that we're going to do together. So if you guys remember, we're going to take a deep breath in and hold. I'm going to say a statement. I want you to think the statement, and when you're done thinking it, you're just going to blow it out. So I'm pretty much doing all the talking, okay? All right, let's go ahead and get started. So the first one that I want to work on, okay, I don't feel like it. Okay, so go ahead and take a deep breath in and hold. I release all anxiety with I don't feel like it. Breathe it out when you're done. Okay, breathe in and hold. I release all fear with I don't feel like it. This is definitely a motivation one. Breathe in and hold. I release all blocks with organization with I don't feel like it. Perfect. Okay, breathe in and hold. I release all aggression with I can't turn off my brain. Breathe in and hold. I release all frustration with I can't turn off my brain. Good. Breathe in and hold. I release all blocks with gratitude with I can't turn off my brain. Good job. Okay, breathe in and hold. I release all positive and negative emotional blocks with there's just too much. Good. Breathe in and hold. I release all embarrassment with there's always something. Breathe in and hold. I release all stress with there's always something. Okay, breathe in and hold. I release all blocks with peace with there's always something. Good job. Oh, those are awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a fill up. So let's see what I want to do. So go ahead and take a deep breath in and hold. I am so happy and so thankful. I am open to receiving more than I could imagine in all areas of my life. Good job. Breathe that out. Okay, so hopefully that gets you started on being able to feel a little bit less overwhelmed, a little less tired, and a little more motivated so that you don't get stuck in that pit of burnout. If you guys have been following along with me on Facebook or in the podcast, you know I have a course. It's starting on March 27th. It's a 12-week program. Every week we go over a certain area that creatives deal with. So there's going to be imposter syndrome in there, creative blocks, tapping into your intuition, burnout, and just there's 12 weeks of coolness. So I really hope you'll join me in the first group. It's going to be quite discounted, so it's the best time to get in, and you'll have access to it forever. So anything I add in later, you'll still have that access to, and you'll also get some one-on-one appointments with me. So definitely check that out. I'll put the link in the comments and also my email if you guys have any questions. Okay, awesome. I hope this was helpful to you today, and I'll see you next time. I hope this podcast spoke to you in some way. If it did, please go ahead and leave me a review and subscribe so that I know you're enjoying what you hear. And further, if you know somebody else who owns their own creative business and struggles with anything that we spoke about, please pass this on, because it is my hope that we will be able to build a community of like-minded individuals who love on each other and appreciate the many facets that make our creative business so unique. And lastly, check out the show notes to find my free Facebook community and other useful links to work with me. All right, friend, see you soon.